Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Numbers, where we cut through all the noise and talk about what it really takes to build a successful business on your terms. Today, I'm talking to someone who does exactly that, Jacqueline Edwards, the brilliant mind behind Business Pipeline. For over 30 years, Jacqueline has been helping businesses understand their numbers, their worth, and their why. But she doesn't tell people what they want to hear. She tells them what they need to hear. With humor, with candor, and with a level of clarity that's rare in this industry. In this episode, she shares why she does what she does, the biggest mistakes business owners make when it comes to their numbers, and what it really means to build a business that supports the life that you want to live. So let's get into it. Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming to Beyond the Numbers. I'm so excited to talk to you and for my audience to get to know you. First, tell us a little bit about yourself and Business Pipeline.
Oh, thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I started Business Pipeline in 92 after finish working for Federated. I used to be an assistant buyer and I was really good at it. My department, I think her name was Sally Haig or something, was my buyer. We went from a million to 10. I used to buy jewelry, sterling silver specifically, and had to do the circulars, everything. So it wasn't just about the buying, which was the smallest part of the job. It was always about crunching numbers and doing the circulars, which was all the marketing, getting the pictures taken, laying out the circulars that used to go out, did the whole thing. And the circulars were grunt work. So that was my job. And then they started knocking off designers. And I was like, that's not right. They go bring their stuff over to India and stuff. So I decided to start working with the fashion designers who were high maintenance. So I decided to branch out because I didn't really want to be anyone's mother, but it seems like that trend never leaves.
That's true.
Still a thing. And I never look back. I tell people I'm a business manager first and foremost, who happens to be freakishly good at financial management. And I use QuickBooks Online as my primary tool to deliver the financial record keeping services of the business. But then it's a lot of consulting. So I've been doing what the industry now terms business advisory way before it was even a thing. I was doing it.
Yeah. That's people underestimate the importance of not just understanding the numbers, but everything that goes into business management. So cheers
Yeah,
to you for doing that.
thank you.
What's something that people think they know about you, but they usually get wrong?
Mm. I'm an open book. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Just
Oh,
yeah, I feel like you are.
well,
That's it.
maybe some people might think a hard ass, but the truth is I care a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why I am a hard ass, because I care so much. I yell at you because I care. I don't yell at you because I don't like you.
I will say that I think that during our like one-on-one conversations, and even when I initially met you, there was something I'm like the tone. I'm like, this feels familiar, but also I do get that you care about what you do. Like it comes across in even to me how you communicate. Some people might think it's hard, but it's just, oh, if she's saying this is something that she's concerned about, and I certainly think it's awesome to, oh, wow, she actually thought about that for me on my behalf.
Yeah, and I really want you to capture it. So I'm usually like, okay, you gotta listen because this is important for you. And a lot of things go in one ear and out the other. And I found that out this month. Yeah, I know it a lot, but I
Yeah.
found it out this month after sending out 10 emails about 1099 in fourth quarter, talking to the clients, and just none of it sunk in. It's like I was saying it for the first time. And I was like, what part of all the emails I sent didn't you get?
Right.
It did. Well, and it's like, you have to understand this. Basic
Yeah.
principle. Ask your vendors for W-9s, full
Yeah.
stop. How hard is that?
Yeah.
They're not responding to my emails. I'm like, I know because they don't want to pay taxes on the money you paid them here. So
Facts.
they're like breaking the relationship right now. Never use them again. And some of them go back to say, like, they were really good, so I used them again. I said, but did you ask them for the W-9? I forgot.
Mm.
And I'm like, what?
If you connect the money to it, then they'll remember to give it to you. Hey, can't pay you without a W-9.
Yeah, and that's what I always tell them, but they're just so focused on, oh, I have to pay a bill because that's easy.
Yeah.
The compliance stuff, it's not that hard.
Mm.
Just get it done.
I don't even think they're hard questions. I say ask the hard questions. Hey, you want your money? Give me the W-9. And as their business manager, as their business consultant, you're on their side. You're like, hey, I'm telling you this because this is going to help you. Or if you don't do this, might hurt you.
And they don't follow through. And you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it.
Facts. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's get a little real. Why do you do what you do? And what I mean by that is I can tell that you love helping your clients and business owners and folks like me. I'm a client, but I love that we have our one-on-one coaching conversations. But what I get from you is that you are very passionate about helping your clients understand their numbers, understand their why, not just, oh, here are your financials, but it's like, why are you doing what you're doing? And understanding what their worth is, like in their business. Why do you do that? What is it? What makes you want to do that?
I believe that everyone should, first of all, our educational system's broken.
Mhm.
That's sad but true. And there are a lot of people who are working class, if you will, attempting to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
And I think it's sad that they're like, there's a secret to success. That's the phrase out there. What's the secret to success? And it's like, why make it a secret? Because everyone's not built to
Right.
climb all the way up the ladder. Some people will only get to a third of the ladder. Some people might get halfway. Some people will make it to the top. So why not give them the information that they need to get as far as they can be? Because we're all unique individuals.
Yeah.
And there's enough for everybody. And so some will, some won't. So what
Yeah.
next? And so I talk my truth. I talk the reality of what it really should be. And if you listen, great. And if you don't, you can't say
Yeah.
no one ever told you. When people reach out to me, I really just want to help them succeed because they're working really hard and it's not necessary when they
Mhm.
could be working smart. I make the efforts to give them the tools to be their best authentic self to get to their level of success because success looks different for everyone. It's not Elon Musk and Steve Jobs success, right? It's different for everybody based on your short and long-term goals. And I just want everybody to live their best life like I am. It's so easy.
Yes. I definitely get that from you when we talk and just how you go about things. And even though we're not in the client capacity, I can tell that you take into consideration what your clients are telling you. If they tell you, hey, I want to be able to be on a yacht, you're like, all right, how are we going to get there? Or if they say, I just want to chill on the farm, how are we going to get there? So it does take a certain level of caring, understanding, and also people underestimate the need to just be like, this is what you need to do. No fluff. Just, hey,
Exactly.
this is what you need to do.
You just have to you have to customize the steps to
Mhm.
meet your goals because
Yeah.
your farm and somebody else's farm or your retail store and somebody else's bridal retail store, it's the same products that you're selling,
Yeah.
but it's going to be different based on what your short and long-term goals are, what your talent really is, what your interest is. Right now, I have a client who's doing a business that their mother passed down to them. And
Mm.
it's not their passion, and they're working really hard.
Yeah.
And I've had that candid conversation with, what do you want to do? Get back to me on it. They haven't gotten back to me yet. Every
Mm.
time I talk to them, it's just, so have you reconsidered? And I'm not trying to tell you to dunk the baby in the bathwater, but if
Yeah.
you're going to expense that much effort on a daily basis on something, you should really make sure it's something you want. I
Mm.
understand love of a parent, and of course, every parent wants their child to pick up their mantle of their business and all of that. But 95% of the time, the kid doesn't want to. That's not what
Right.
they want. You have to consider that succession plan. And it can't always be my kids are going to do it, because some kids are loving to a fault and will honor their parents despite and put their dreams aside no matter what. And God bless those children. That's a huge sacrifice.
It is. I think that, like, I know I'm saying business manager and business consultant, but it just sounds, there's so much more to me that you seem to consider with your clients, because even with that example, you're challenging the person's duty to their parent versus the passion and what they actually want to do. And the fact that you are living the life that you want to live, which we'll definitely talk about, shows that, hey, I've done it. And so I have the experience in this. And if you want to customize your life, let me be the person to help you do that in the capacity that we're working together. It's wild that this person hasn't gotten back to you, because it seems like maybe they're doing some internal like work because they haven't had a chance to think about it that way.
No one should dream their life away when you're living it. And I see that too many people in America are dreaming their lives away. And that makes me very sad.
Yeah.
Wow, you're saying you're working towards quality of life, but you're self-sabotaging and you're dreaming. Just stop.
Do it. I No one should dream their life away.
No.
That is going to be a quote here. I absolutely love that. So, speaking of not dreaming your life away and just really living your life, was there like a defining moment where you realized that I'm doing what I'm meant to do? Or I'm curious how you're going to answer this question, because I feel like I have an idea.
From a very young age, I always knew what I wanted to do. I was into fashion. I was a great seamstress. I could sew anything without a pattern. So I sewed my mom's clothing. I sewed my clothing. And I didn't want to go to school for that. So I went to school for the business of fashion because I didn't know business.
Yes.
At least I didn't think I did. And I would help my dad do his tax returns and why do you have to do taxes? And he was just really good with numbers, and I inherited that from him.
Yeah.
And I just knew the direction I wanted to go as I was in school.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to do. I was a personal shopper for a New York Minute. The school that I went to, they had an in with the Federated Executive Training Program, and everyone who wanted to be in fashion died to get into that program. And I got in, so I went with the flow of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just following your path. And
Yeah.
if you're on your path of passion, it will lead you in the right way. You just have to have an open mind to how it can make money for you. A lot of people are always focused on industry standards or I can't make money at this. And it's who told you that? There's always a way to make money. You just have to think outside that box. And when my clients come to me, I don't put them in a box. Just because I have 7 restaurants doesn't mean that, oh, okay, your box looks like this.
Yeah.
It's about customizing it to meet the needs of their short and long-term goals and who they are. You have to. Otherwise, there's not going to be any level of success. You're just going to flatline and just keep on grinding away and
Yeah.
see no change. And people won't come to me to pay me all the money that they do not to see any change.
You're saying a word as you always do, but this is definitely a word. And of course, I love the approach that you have to even our conversations and the conversations that you have with your clients. And I feel like this is going to be a really good one. Have you ever had a moment with a client that didn't want to hear the truth? And how did that go?
Oh my gosh, I've had several people who don't want to hear the truth and they let me go, and that's fine
Yeah.
because it's their loss.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there'll always be someone out there who wants to tell you what you want to hear, called they're hustlers, they're scam artists, they're predatory. And I'm none of that. There's three things to success. You have to have, first and foremost, integrity, you have to have energy, and you have to have the intelligence.
Mm,
Those are the three things to success. And
mhm.
if you want to hear certain things and I'm not going to tell them to you, I'm not here to appease you and make you feel good. I'm here
Yes.
to help you reach your goals,
Yes.
short
Yes.
and long.
Hmm.
Of course, short comes first because those are immediate.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to tell you, oh, you're super amazing. No, no blue ribbons here.
Right.
No.
Yes. Yes. That's so real. I mean, and it's very important. And I feel like we're in this space where if you're telling someone something that doesn't really make them feel good, that you automatically dislike them or you have something against them.
Oh,
And we
you're mean, you're the B word, you're unkind. And it's no, I'm very kind and
yeah,
I care enough to tell you the truth.
yes,
Love is not supposed to hurt. It's
no.
not supposed to hurt. And
Hmm.
then family will be like, oh, Jimmy, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. No, it wasn't awesome. I realized that you did the best that you could.
Yeah.
And here's my recommendations for rooms for improvement. I went to a play that someone asked me to go to, and I love theater. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
And after the show, play was awful. It was just awful. And after the show, you could see that they were excited. I went to the back. They were just like, so what did you think? What did you think? And they're just all pumped up on energy, and everybody is around with their loved ones and friends, and everyone's telling them, oh, you were amazing, you were great, you were this, you were that. And at that time that this person asked me, I was just like, I'm so happy that you allowed me to see you in action. It was really great to see you in action.
Yeah.
And that's what I said.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, they called and they said, "You told me you were happy to see me in action, and I heard you. But what did you really think? Because I know you." And I said, the rest of your team wasn't to the level that you were at,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't really support you in the manner that you needed. And I'm like, you're really good at what you do. You just need to find a different platform to do it in. And it was a theater group.
Yeah.
I know everybody learns at a different pace and all of that, but it wasn't the right material for their talent. And that was my honest feedback. Meanwhile, they were on a high. I didn't want
Yeah.
to burst the bubble and was like, oh my God, I couldn't wait to leave. It's done.
Right.
And I didn't
Yeah.
say that on the second day either. They asked me. I just was like, you just have to find the right venue to display those talents in.
That's the true definition of constructive criticism. I think folks, they say, oh, I'm going to give you this constructive criticism, and they don't consider like the person is like doing a thing, right? This is a new podcast, for example. It's okay. You just do the thing and then you build on top of it. And you're like, there's ways of molding and saying, okay, this was really good advice. I'm going to implement that. I'm going to implement that. The way that you approach that person, you're like, this is a moment for them. I want to acknowledge that they took that step to do whatever it is that they did in theater. And then when they get back to me, offer something constructive. Not only did you say, hey, this is my perspective, but you also acknowledge that they did a thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think you have a fan of me. Like, it's just like, this is really helpful. And I do think like your clients paying you the money that they are paying you, probably should be more, are getting something very valuable from you when they are working with you and you tell them the truth about what you want, about what they should be doing. So
There are times, sorry about
it's
that,
okay.
but there are times where sometimes I'm just like, they'll ask me a question and I'll be like, okay, I'm annoyed. Why don't you understand that? What do you remember? Tell
Right.
me what you recall. And most people want to decrease and say, I don't know. And I'm,
Mm.
You can't lean on I don't know, because we had this conversation before.
Right.
I can respect that you don't remember, but
Right.
at the same time, you're going to tell me what you remember, and I push them into their memory.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm like, "Well, you said you take notes." And I know AI is here and
Mm-hmm.
it's a great tool, and I think everyone should be using it. But the one place I don't think they should use it is to take notes.
Yeah.
Because when you take notes and you physically write it in your own handwriting,
Mhm.
it's a process of getting deeper into you being able to keep that information.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to retain it now because
Yeah.
you're using more than one of your senses. When AI is doing stuff for you and you think you're working smart, no, you're not. You're taking away from your level of learning capability, even though
Mhm.
there's different types of learning out there. And I get it. Writing is never going to take away from your learning capabilities. It's
Yeah.
always going to be an enhancement to a part of your brain to be like, okay, they're writing this down. They're feeling out the words. They have to, sometimes you're writing and you're like, how do you spell? Oh, and you forget how to spell something.
Mhm.
And you're like, "Oh my god," and you just write it down. It may be wrong, or you may ask one of I would say the name, but then they'll come on the phone and say, "How do you spell this?" And the AI on your phone will be like, "Da, da, da," and you're like, "Oh, okay," and you just keep on going. But when you write, it's just so important on how you get to keep that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't give people notes. I'll give you the video so you can go and take notes,
So
but,
different.
afterwards, because you may have forgotten everything that was said, but I want you to write down those notes.
Yeah.
And recently I discovered the remarkable, so I'm like telling
I,
everyone about
yes.
it.
I just ordered mine because I told you know me. I have paper everywhere, and I'm just writing and writing.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, and you wanna be a paperless office, that tool allows you to write things down and
Yeah.
keep it and keep your environment neat and but
Yes.
still find what's necessary, right?
Yes. I do.
So
You mentioned AI, and I work like I say in tandem with AI, and I feel affirmed in what you said because I will literally like I'll watch this back and there's obviously a note taker happening, but then I'll write my own notes. Like, oh yeah, this is something because it's something that happens in my brain when I'm writing it down. Even if it's repetitive, I just okay, I do still need to write it down.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just what it is.
The
Oh,
important things that I want to achieve, I write down every morning over and over again.
yeah,
I'm not exempt from doing the steps to be successful or to achieve that goal. I
yeah,
have to do the same thing,
yeah,
but people won't tell you that. You
yeah,
a lot of successful people won't tell you, "Oh, yeah, I journal. Oh, yeah, I review my notes and or review a session and write things down." They won't tell
mhm,
you that, but it's so key. And
it is.
in today's educational system, their students are using AI to record the lecture and have it transpose the notes, but they're not writing them down and they want to know why they're failing the class. That key step of using your own hand to write those notes, to do those cue cards, it's
Mhm,
important.
very,
Technology is great, but don't let it dumbify who you are.
mm,
Because yesterday, no, it wasn't yesterday, Thursday, someone said to me, I don't know if I got my designation yet because they were going from an LLC to an S corp. I
mm,
said,
mm,
"What do you mean you don't know?" I said, "Did you look it up online? What are you talking about? I didn't know I could do that." And I said, "Okay, well, let's do it right now."
yeah.
And they're like, "What do you want me to write?" I'm like, "What do you think you should write?" I'm not here to, I call it breastfeeding.
Yes, yes.
I'm not here to breastfeed you and thinking for you. I'm prompting you to think for yourself. They started writing, but they weren't writing the right prompt into Google. The basic.
Yeah.
How
Yes.
long have we been writing things into search engines? Okay.
Mhm.
And I said, hold up, read what you just wrote. Is that the question that you're asking? I said, what is it that you're looking to achieve? And they're
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm looking to achieve if the status of my corporation. Okay, what's the prompt you should write in Google? And I don't know. Always the response. And I was just like, think about it, keyword. And I just wouldn't give them what they needed. And then when they hit the search feature, they were like, I didn't know this existed. I said, we used to have to go to the library. Now
Yes. They don't know Dewey Decimal System.
you're right. And I still know how to use the Dewey Decimal System.
Mhm.
Now we have this computer in front of us, and if you just can think correctly, you're
Yeah.
gonna get the information that you need. But you
Right.
can't think correctly if you have AI recording everything, which is
Right.
great. You should,
Yeah.
but then it takes the notes.
Right.
Where's your critical thinking? You have to exercise that muscle. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know how to do critical thinking. They're
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And it's to stop that mantra of I don't know. Why not do the mantra, okay, you know what to ask. What do you need to ask? Talk out loud.
Mm.
You can get to that place of awareness
Yeah.
to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because you can't say to the search engine or I don't know. You have to know how to write a prompt. And if
What do
you
you
don't,
need to know?
and what do you need to know to get
Mhm.
the information that you don't know? So
Right.
you got to learn how to think out that process,
Mm.
be able to get the real answers because newsflash, you write the wrong question, you're going to get some misinformation and people don't even know how to discern that anymore. And it's,
No.
whoa, okay, out of everything that's on this page, what do you think you should choose? I asked the person who was looking to see their corporate status. And
Mm.
they were like, and I was just like, I'll give you a hint. I'm like, who's going to be more reliable, a .gov or a .net? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing how we're teaching this person, like, hey, this is what you need to do. These are the prompts that you need to take. And this is how you get your critical thinking muscles working because it seems like those muscles are undeveloped for this example. And I think that's what we're missing with teaching and having people be empowered to do those things. Because if you're giving someone something, yeah, they can pay someone like, oh, I don't know, can you figure it out for me? But what does that do for you as a person, as a business owner who has to make decisions, or even just as an individual who has to make
Right.
decisions?
And I've had people say, I'm paying you for the answer.
Are
And
you?
I'm like, no, you're not. I said, you're paying me to help you become aware of how to get your answers.
Mm.
I can be hit by a bus tomorrow. What you gonna do? This year, I told all of my clients, I will no longer run your reports or give you a report. It is your responsibility to go into QuickBooks, go into the report section of the software, run your reports, and Slack them to me. And then
Mm.
we'll review them. But it is your responsibility to run it just the way I used to give them to you all the time. It is your responsibility. You want to know when I'm done with the work? We'll go in and see if the reconciliation is done. I walk them all through it. And I said, do you have any questions? No. I'm like, then send me your report. And
Right.
I sent one guy, I sent him the reports, but they were wrong. And I did it on purpose. So I said, now that you know that those reports that I sent you are wrong, what would you do to fix them? And he had to go through it. We're screen sharing.
Yeah.
And he had to go through it and send me the reports. And he said, you can see them. And I said, what's your point? I said, you need to send them to me.
Yeah.
What button do I press to do that? I said, read from left to top to bottom, just the way you would a book. And look at the icons. Remember, QuickBooks is a landmine.
Yeah.
Everything clickable. So click with intention. A lot of people
Yes.
don't even click with intention. They'll call and they'll be like, the software did something. Don't be mad. But I was doing this and it did that. And I'm like, but what did you click? Did you click with intention, or were you clicking haphazardly and using your mouse to read? Right. And usually I tell people, take your hands off the mouse and read with your eyes. The mouse doesn't do anything for you. The mouse is only going to go to where you need it to go. But if you have twitchy fingers and you click the wrong thing by mistake, you don't know what you clicked. And
Right.
you're like, QuickBooks is hard. It's not hard.
It's
You
not
were
hard.
running the mouse all over the page of a
Yeah.
line. Of course, something was going to blow up. And you don't
Hmm.
know what blew up.